is Jenna and today I'm here with my pre-America book haul. So I am going to America. I'm going to be living there for 5 months, and before I go I thought I would show you guys all of the books that I have bought or received in the last couple of months. The last time I did a book haul was February and I actually don't have heaps of books to show you guys. I'm really proud of that fact. I haven't been buying a lot of books, which is really good because buying books is expensive and I have to live in America without a wage for 5 months. So not buying books is a good thing. So as always, I will take you guys through the YA Circle books first. So the YA Circle book of the month for March was The Bells by Danielle Clayton. Full disclosure, I did not read this book and I have absolutely no idea what it's about, but I do know that my entire book club, none of them were huge fans of it, so I'm going to do my best to summarize it for you guys now. Or even better, I'm just going to read you guys the blurb because this is so confusing. So, in the opulent world of Orleans, the people are born grey and damned and only a belle's powers can make them beautiful. Camilla Beauregard wants to be the favourite belle, the one chosen by the queen to tend to the royal family. But once Camilla and her, okay, I think it's Camellia because of the way that it's spelt, but once Camilla and her belle sisters arrive at court, it becomes clear that being the favourite is not everything she always dreamed it would be. Behind the gilded palace walls lives dark secrets, and Camilla soon learns that her powers may be far greater and far darker than she ever imagined. When the queen asks Camilla to break the rules she lives by to save the ailing princess, she faces an impossible decision. Protect herself and the way of the bells, or risk her own life and change the world forever. That actually sounds like a really good concept, but I'm really nervous to pick this one up now after my entire book club was like, yeah, maybe not. So we'll see how this one goes. I actually have 2 copies of this book. I purchased one and then I got one for free for the Y Adelaide event and I was just like, why? So now I have 2 copies, yay. So the YA Circle book of the month for April was Neverland by Margot McGovern. So Neverland follows a girl named Kit who, after doing herself near fatal harm, is sent back to the island that she grew up on, where her uncle has now established a sort of hospital for teenagers who are struggling with mental health issues. So Kit returns to the island for the first time as a patient, where she has to decide what is real and what is not real as she tries to come to terms with trauma that happened in her childhood. This book was very emotional, it's very raw, and it's one that I highly recommend that everyone pick up. And then the YA Circle book of the month for May was Lifelike by J. Christoph. So this book follows a 17-year-old girl named Eve who is having one of the worst days of her life. She lost all of the money that she was supposed to spend on her grandfather's meds. She's on a gangster's most wanted list and her robot has just been reduced to a smoking wreck. She doesn't remember ever having a worse day, but she has, and that all comes to light when she discovers an android by the name of Ezekiel, who is of course a lifelike. Lifelikes have been completely outlawed and Eve does not entirely know why, and she sets off along with Ezekiel, her best friend Lemon Fresh, and her robot sidekick Cricket, and the 4 of them set off to discover the secrets of Lifelike and to discover Eve's lost memories. This book was quite fun, but I was kind of let down by the twists that happened in it, and I probably will continue with it though because J. Christoph is a pretty awesome author. So next up we have a book I was sent by Pantera Press, so thank you Pantera for sending this to me, and that is Whisper by Lynette Noni. Whisper is the first book in a new duology by Lynette. It follows Subject 684, who has been trapped underground in a secret government facility for the past 2 years and hasn't spoken a word. One day, her regular routine is changed and she is given a new evaluator, someone who begins to crack through her walls and therefore allows 684 to kind of come to terms with who she is, where she is, and why she's there. This is an incredibly twisty, mind-bendy kind of book. Highly recommend that you pick this one up. And now we move ahead to books that I bought myself. Some of these I know the plot for, others I do not, so I might be reading a lot of blurbs for you. First up, I have Ice Wolves by Amy Kaufman. This is the first book in Amy's middle grade trilogy. I believe it's the first series that she's written on her own as well. So I'm just gonna read you the blurb because I don't know much about this one. Everyone in Valen knows that Ice Wolves and Scorched Dragons are sworn enemies who live deeply separate lives. So when 12-year-old orphan Anders takes one elemental form and his twin sister Raina takes another, he has to question whether they are even related. Still, whether or not they're family, Anders knows that Raina is his best and only true friend. She's nothing like the brutal, cruel dragons who claimed her as one of their own and stole her away. In order to rescue her, Anders will have to enlist at the foreboding Ulfa Academy, a school for young wolves that values loyalty to the pack above all else. But for Anders, loyalty is more complicated than blind obedience, and friendship is the most powerful, shape-shifting force of all. It sounds like a really good read, and I'm hoping to get to it soon. Next up, we have Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and J. Christoph. This is the 3rd and final book in the Illuminae files. I have not read it because I have not yet read Gemini. All I know about this book is that it is set to conclude the story that began began in Illuminae. It follows the surviving characters of Illuminae and Gemini, as well as new characters, and this conclusion is, I've been told, epic and just insane, and wraps everything up nicely and kills many people. Next up, I have Losing Brave by Bailey Madison and Stephanie Miller. This is a YA mystery novel and follows a girl named Peyton who is trying to discover what happened the day her twin sister Dylan disappeared. That is kind of all I know about this one. The actual blurb doesn't give you a lot, but from what I can tell, it's pretty much just about Peyton trying to figure out what happened when Dylan disappeared, but it sounds super twisty and just super mystery filled, and I'm really looking forward to giving it a go. Next up, we have Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertelli. This is the sequel / companion novel to Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and it follows Leah, who was one of Simon's best friends in the Simon book, and it follows her and her friends as they navigate senior year and navigate the senior prom. Next up, I have A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. Yes, I mean trilogy. So it's basically book 3.5. It bridges the gap between books 3 and 4. It's not completely necessary to read, but if you are a hardcore fan of the ACOTAR series, then I do recommend it. It follows Rhys, Feyre, and a bunch of their friends as they are all getting ready for winter solstice. That's pretty much the entire plot of the book. There's no conflict at all. It's just them getting ready for this solstice. Next up, I have King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard. This is the 3rd book in the Red Queen series, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Red Queen is set in a world where everyone is divided by the color of their blood. We have red blood and we have silver blood. Silver bloods have powers, reds do not, and therefore they are looked down upon by silvers. We meet a girl named Mare who has red blood but also has powers, and she is dragged into the political world and is kind of caught up in all of that, and I have no idea what happens by the time you get to this one because I haven't been continuing on with the series. Next up, we have Void Black Shadow by Corey J. White. This is the sequel to Killing Gravity, and Killing Gravity follows a character called Marzi, who is a living weapon. She was genetically modified to be a weapon, and it follows her on her journey to escape from the authorities who are trying to capture her, and you kind of get drawn into her story and drawn into her world. Next up, I have The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks. This is an epic fantasy series, and I'm going to read you the blurb. Long ago, the world of the Four Lands was torn apart by the wars of ancient evil, but in the Vale, the half-human, half-elfin Shia Omsford now lives in peace, until the mysterious, foreboding figure of the druid Alanon appears to reveal that the supposedly long-dead warlock lord lives again. Shia must embark upon an elemental quest to find the only weapon powerful enough to keep the creatures of darkness at bay, the fabled Sword of Shannara. I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like a really good book, and I am super excited to read it. I had a friend read it though, and she said that I might not like it. There's no female characters until chapter, I think she said maybe chapter 25 or something. Honestly, that doesn't bother me all that much, like I don't care, but it does look like a really dense read, and so I'm gonna have to give this one like a good go. Next up, we have The Perfectionists and The Good Girls, both by Sarah Shepard. This is a duology that follows 5 girls who write a list of ways they would like to kill one of their classmates, and when he turns up dead, they are all suspects in his murder. Sounds awesome. I'm super pumped in order to read this one. I loved Pretty Little Liars, and I can't wait to see what Sarah Shepard comes up with next. Next up, we have The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is the 10th anniversary edition of the Chaos Walking trilogy. I picked it up, not gonna lie, because it was beautiful, and also because I've heard nothing but good things about this story. So this book is set on another world where men can hear the thoughts of other men. This all jumbles together to make noise, and we follow a boy named Todd who one day stumbles upon a silent spot. He discovers that the source of the silence is actually a girl. There are no girls in Prentisstown, so when he finds her, he is completely shocked, and this also throws his world completely off balance. He and Viola then have to flee from the town and make their way to a safe haven. This book was really good, and it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it because it's so pretty. Next up, we have The Opposite of Here by Tara Altibrando. I know nothing about this, so Natalie's parents are taking her and her 3 best friends on a cruise for her 17th birthday. A celebration, they call it. But it's only been a few months since Natalie's boyfriend died in a tragic accident, and she wants to be anywhere but here. Then she meets a guy on the first night, and sparks fly. After a moonlit conversation on a secluded deck of the ship, Natalie pops down to her cabin to get her swimsuit so they can go for a dip. But when she returns, he's gone, and something he said makes her think he might have fallen, jumped, No, he couldn't have. But why do her friends think she's crazy for wanting to make sure he's okay? And how can she find him when she doesn't even know his name? Most important, why is the captain on the intercom announcing the urgent need for a head count? I think this sounds really, really cool. I would love to read this book. It sounds like a really awesome thriller, and I actually can't wait to read it. Next up, I have Furyborn by Claire Legrand. This was actually a gift from Renee and my book club, so thank you very much, Renee, for giving me this one. I don't know anything about it though, so I'm just going to read it. When assassins ambush her best friend, the Crown Prince, Riella Dardine, oh my god, what is with these names, risks everything to save him, exposing her ability to perform all 7 kinds of elemental magic. The only people who should possess this power are a pair of prophesized queens, a Queen of Light and a Queen of Blood. To prove that she is the Sun Queen, Rielle must endure 7 trials to test her magic. If she fails, she will be executed, unless the trials destroy her first. 1,000 years later, the legend of Queen Rielle is a mere fairy tale to bounty hunter Ileana Fedacora. When the Undying Empire conquered her kingdom, she embraced violence to keep her family safe. Now she believes herself untouchable until her mother vanishes. To find her, Ileana joins a rebel captain on a dangerous mission and discovers that the evil at the heart of the Empire is more terrible than she ever imagined. As Riella and Ileana fight in a cosmic war that spans millennia, their stories intersect, and the shocking connections between them will ultimately determine the fate of their world and of each other. Oh my god, that sounds amazing! I didn't realize it was... wow, we literally have like 2 interlocking stories. Wow, I want to read that. Hello, I'm coming to you from the future. Basically, after I filmed this book haul, I then went out and bought like 6 new books, so hey, let's just add them in now. So I picked up The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. This is the first book in the Darkest Minds trilogy, and I picked it up because there's a movie coming out soon, which I really, really want to see. I have an exclusive Liam story inside. I don't know who Liam is, so I don't really understand that. I don't know a lot about this. I know it is set in a future America where something has killed off the majority of the world's children, but the children that are left behind all have powers. So the government is rounding them up and putting them into these rehabilitation camps. I don't really know much else about it, but I know that it follows a girl named Ruby who has these special powers that she is trying to learn how to control, and I think she and some friends kind of escape from the camp and are trying to find a place where kids can live and be free, I think. Sounds really, really good. I actually can't believe I haven't read it yet, but I kind of want to get it read before the movie comes out. So, you know, yikes. Next up is Found by Flirt Ferris. This is the YA Circles Book Club Book of the Month for July. It is a thriller, Lovers YA. Follows a girl named Elizabeth Miller, whose entire life is turned upside down when her dad mysteriously disappears in front of her, and she is told that the life that she's known is actually completely false, and she has to try and figure out who she really is. I don't know where I was going with all my hand gestures, but that's the book. I have read it. It's not fantastic, but it did have a really interesting concept. The last 2 books I have to show you are all part of the same series, and they're so pretty. I bought the Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets hardback editions, 20th anniversary. I just couldn't help myself. So I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in Gryffindor. I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in Slytherin. I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in Ravenclaw. And I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in Hufflepuff. They're just so beautiful. I couldn't resist it. The worst part is I'm gonna keep buying them. So they're gonna keep bringing them out for all 7 books, and I'm gonna keep buying them. So, you know, woo! And last but not least, we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Fun story with The Hate You Give. For the longest time, I didn't want to read it. I wasn't really that interested, and then I saw the trailer for the film and I went, actually, no, you know what? That does look like a really important story. I will read it. I do need to. But I hate the Australian UK cover. I don't like it at all. I think it looks awful. So I splurged and I bought the hardcover because I think it's got such a better cover. So for any of you who don't know, The Hate You Give follows a girl named Star who is currently living 2 lives. The life she lives at home in her neighborhood and the life she lives at school. So one day, Star's best friend is shot in an unfortunate accident involving a police officer, and she becomes entwined in the Black Lives Matter movement where she is fighting for her people. I'm actually super excited to read this one now. I'm hoping to get to it before I leave for America, but it's kind of a thick book and I just don't know. I don't have long to go. And there we go. Those are all of the books that I have picked up over the last couple of months. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you have read any of these books and what you thought. I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.